My name is Nicky and I work as a tour guide for Mercat Tours. Today I'd like to tell you about a woman who is regarded as a muse of our national poet, Robert Burns. So, in May 1804, the Court of Session here in Edinburgh banned the continuing publication of 25 private letters written by Burns using the name Sylvanda to a lady he referred to as Clarinda. The court action had been brought by Burns's family. Burns himself was dead by then, and arguments in the case centred around whether private letters should be published without the consent of both the sender, or in this case his estate, and the recipient. Clarinda took no part in the case and she was not identified in court. So who was she? Well, her real name was Agnes Craig. She was the daughter of a Glasgow surgeon and her maternal grandfather was a minister of the church, so she would have been considered a respectable woman at the time. The only likeness we have of her is a silhouette, but she was spoken of as a great beauty. She was courted by a young Glasgow lawyer, James Maclehose. Her family disapproved and he was banned from their home, but he found various ways of still meeting Agnes. On one occasion, for example, he bought every other seat on the coach from Glasgow to Edinburgh that he knew she'd be travelling on, so that they could spend the journey alone together. She married him at the age of 18 and they had 4 children together. However, sadly, it seems that her family were right about Macklehose. They separated during her 4th pregnancy, with Agnes citing his mental cruelty to her as the reason for the separation. It was normal at the time for the custody of children to go to their father, so she then faced a long legal battle to get her children back. The fact that she succeeded suggests that Macklehose's cruelty was indeed extreme, even by the standards of the time. After the separation, she lived off a small annuity and also financial support from first her father and later her cousin Lord Craig, an Edinburgh judge, who, incidentally, was one of the 3 judges who ruled on the 1804 case. She was well educated and she wrote poetry. She first met Burns in December 1787 at a tea party. It's clear from their correspondence that although she found him attractive, what she was seeking was friendship and a chance to discuss poetry. Burns already had a terrible reputation for seducing and abandoning women. In April that very year, for example, he'd had an affair with a servant girl called May Cameron, who ended up pregnant. Burns sent her 10 shillings and advised her to go and stay with relatives out of town when the pregnancy was discovered and she lost her job. So Agnes made it clear from the start that she was not prepared to become romantically involved with Burns. She wrote him a poem shortly after they met in December. "Talk not of love, it gives me pain, for love has been my foe. He bound me with an iron chain and plunged me deep in woe. Your friendship much can make me blessed. Oh, why that bliss destroy? Why urge the odious? One request, you know, I must deny." Even to be a friend of a man of his reputation was a risk for her, which is why the letters they exchanged were signed with aliases, and their meetings for the most part kept secret. Burns continued to proclaim his love for Agnes, but at the same time it seems he got her maid, Jenny Clow, pregnant, again abandoning the unfortunate woman to poverty after the pregnancy was discovered. He also married his long-standing, pregnant and apparently extremely patient partner, Jean Armour, in 1788, about 6 weeks after telling Agnes that he had broken off the engagement. Eventually, a combination of family pressure and common sense led to Agnes ending her friendship with Burns in 1791. His poem, I Fond Kiss, is dedicated to her, and he sent it to her after their final meeting.